rock, Yahuwah family? Yes, it is. May be glad and rejoice in it. Today's video is Christmas. We're going into the deeper things of Christmas, things you may not have known. We've all heard about Saturnalia. We've all heard about things, but I'm going to show you some things that was revealed to me by some brothers and sisters, and we're going to get deep into it. So if this is your first time watching the page, I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive. If you don't know, this is by urbanfaith.com. If you don't know your church history, you will be taken back. See, it's rooted in paganism, but we're going to get more into that when you find out that the holiday that we have known as the birth of the false Messiah is rooted in ancient Roman fertility. When I say false Messiah, I'm not talking about the Savior who actually died for us, Yahushua HaMashiach, him and him crucified, Romans 10:9 and Romans 10:13, believing that, if you believe that Yahuwah raised him from the dead, then you are saved. And calling on the name of Yahuwah, Romans 10:13, for whoever shall call upon the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. I'm not talking about, Romans 10:9 Yahushua. I'm talking about this Jesus that we've been presented, this Roman Catholic, you can celebrate anything, sin and do anything, just lawless Christ, essentially. It may throw you off for a second. The same holiday that has inspired so many and beautiful movies was the inspiration for people to release their inner lust. What? Doesn't the Bible say to flee lust and youthful lust? Yes, Christmas has pagan roots, but that isn't the reason to drop it yet. See, look at the philosophy. Yes, it's pagan, people. Yes, it's evil. I will get to the reasons for that, but let's start with a little history just in case you're not convinced of its pagan origin. See, they admit that they're pagan, and watch what he does at the end of this. Christmas was created as a holiday that can coincide with the pagan Roman holiday of Saturnalia, a week-long festival. Why do you think you guys get a week off of school, or two, right? That involved sexual license and human sacrifice. They would have crazy sex orgies on Easter, right? And have all these fertility orgies, right? With the egg and the bunny symbolizing fertility. Yes, eggs and bunnies are ancient symbols of fertility and renewal, a connection that has been blended with the Christian celebration of Easter. The association with the spring goddess Astor and pagan traditions link the two symbols to fertility, which was later incorporated into the holiday celebration of resurrection and new life. So when you're celebrating these holidays, you're celebrating the false resurrection of Esoter, or whatever that false god's name is. I want you to look at this article right here, or this AI overview article, whatever. And I want you to notice how they always tell you it's pagan, how there's always a connection, but that they still somehow argue that there's never a connection. They show you the connection and then try to gaslight you into believing there's no connection. Let's read. The terms related through an ancient Babylonian goddess named Ishtar, who is also connected to Astarte or Ashtaroth. Okay, we're going to get into Ashtaroth. Pay attention. Remember that. Ashtaroth. Okay, let's go. Who is connected to the modern English name Easter. Right? Hold on. Let's go to the Book of Kings right quick. Now, really pay attention. Let's read. The name Ashtaroth, also spelled Ashtoreth, appears in and forgive me, I'm probably butchering that, of the Old Testament, specifically like Judges 1 and 2, Samuel, 1 and 2 Kings, Deuteronomy. It's mentioned as a goddess worshipped by the Israelites alongside other deities as name of a city conquered by the Israelites. Let's read 1 Kings 11:5. Solomon built a high place for Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and other gods. King Josiah defiled the high places Solomon had built for Ashtaroth and other gods. 2 Kings 23:13. Now let's read. This is the big one. Judges chapter 2 verse 13. The Israelites forsook Yahuwah and served Baal and Ashtaroth. Right? Hold on. Let's keep going. Notice that the first thing that when Daniel and his the Hebrew boys, the three Hebrew boys, went to captivity in Babylon, the first thing he did was not make them bow before the altar that people talk about. It wasn't throw them in the fire. Let's read in context. Verse 7, what they did. To the chief of the eunuchs gave names. He gave to Daniel, and again, we know this isn't like, we're talking English here, but this is just for, understanding's sake, so I can teach you guys, because there's still certain things I don't understand as well. Daniel, the name Belshazzar, the name to Hananiah, Shadrach, to Meshach, and to Azariah, Abednego. So the first thing they did was not kill them, was not make them bow before their gods. It was to change their name, because their names were associated with a culture, the Hebrew culture, right? Which they're trying to get you to throw away. So Christmas doesn't have to say Christmas, because when the Roman empires change, when regimes change, the traditions always stay the same. The gift giving, the pagan Christmas tree, always things stay the same, but the name and the supposed of why they do it is different, but it's all the same. Let's go to Jeremiah 10. Okay, and then well, that's not talking about the Christmas tree. Yes, it is. It doesn't have to say Christmas tree. All right, let's get into it. And again, we're going to get into the deep things here in a minute, but I'm laying the foundation for those who haven't heard. Hear the word of Yahuwah speaks to you, O the house of Yashrael. Thus says Yahuwah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. So we're not supposed to be learning the ways of the other nations to try to incorporate, right? Because the early Christian church allowed the people to celebrate these holidays because they were pagan anyway. They were pagan converts, but they were basically trying to bring in more pagan converts by, putting the celebration, by celebrating their so-called Christ's birthday, right, on the 25th to bring in to appeal to more pagan converts. The way we appeal to people is not by merging with their traditions, it's by our example. Matthew 5:16 says to let your light so shine before men they see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And I'll put that somewhere on the screen if I can remember. For the Gentiles are dismayed at them. Don't learn the way of the Gentiles. For their customs of the people are futile. What's the customs of the people, Zeal? Let's check it out. Now, again, take your Christianity and just sit here and listen. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. This is a Christmas tree or a Saturnalia tree. I don't care what you want to call it. It's all the same paganism. It's all the same tradition, right? They are upright like a palm tree. Come on, man. And they cannot speak, they must be carried, because they cannot go by themselves. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do any good. So these trees, whatever, people want to get technical, they can't bear fruit. Christmas trees are barren. Christmas is barren, and it cannot bear good fruit. A bad tree that's set in bad foundations cannot bear good fruit. See, when you look at it, you will know them by their fruits. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but every bad tree bears bad fruit. See the tree symbolism, pay attention. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits, you will know them. Do you guys not see every tree that is thrown into the bad tree is thrown into the fire? These holidays are going to be thrown into the fire. The Christmas tree, these celebrations are pagan. These are bad trees, literally bad trees, and people still can't see it, that are bearing bad fruit. What are they going to do? They're going to be thrown into the fire. Let's read about, a lot of people talk about the rapture, because that's something else that people believe, right? Because they believe the Jews in Israel that, Jacob, that the tribulations for them and they're going to go. And so who you believe the people is matters. And yes, and I talked to this guy the other day at work. He was like, they're the true Jews, and it shows you that how, though they don't believe or whatever, that they can be blessed. But the Most High, people that say stuff like that, they don't understand his character, because Yahuwah does not bless disobedience. Okay. Another parable he put forth to him, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good field, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow the good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to him, an enemy has done this. Who? Not Yahuwah, with the bad tree, with the Christmas trees. An enemy has done this. The servant said to him, do you want us then to go and gather them up? But he said, no, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. So hold on, let's stop. According to the rapture that people always say, this, another bad tree that's bearing bad fruit. Let's see what Messiah actually says. A lot of people want to say Messiah said this, Messiah said that. What did he say himself? Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, who is he going to gather first? Gather who? The tares, and buy them in bundles and throw them and burn them, right? But gather the wheat into my barn. Hold up. What did the Bible say? Okay, that's Jeremiah. So the tares they go up first, or they get burned up first. So when you're saying you want the rapture, you're saying you want to be a part of the tares who will be burned up first. Okay? Now, again, I have videos about the second Exodus and all these things on my page. I probably need to re-upload some of them. But Matthew 7:18 says that a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor a bad tree, good fruit. Okay, now what's going to happen to these bad trees and these bad fruits? Quite literally, tree, Jeremiah 10, right? They're going to be thrown and every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut and thrown into the fire. Okay, Matthew 13. When you're believing in these false doctrines, when you're believing these doctrines of tares, when you're celebrating these, trying to bless these altars, the Christmas tree is an altar. The milk and cookies are the offering, and the gifts are the so-called sacrifices, right? They're like literally, like it's all a pagan witchcraft. That's how witches work so well with this. This is why everybody can celebrate. This is why Catholics push it. The word Catholic, I'm pretty sure, means universal. This is why everybody can incorporate it, because it's witchcraft. Like literally, like when you bow before the tree, you're bowing before the altar. Now, I'm about to get into the traditions of it in a minute, so let's go ahead and let's hit this. Matthew 7:21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Right? Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and have done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Not you who didn't pray, not you who didn't read your Bible for 30 minutes today, which you should absolutely do those things, but you who practice lawlessness. Now let's see what's served on Christmas, right? Ham, mashed potatoes, candied yams. Okay, let's go ahead and stop at ham. Let's move. Okay, yes, ham is a type of pork. Why does that matter? Let me show you. Now I want you to think about something, all right? I want you to think about it. So let's read. Yes, the abomination of desolation that occurred. Remember, we're thinking abomination, desolation as in the book of Daniel or Revelation, right? But in the book, they took out First Maccabees 4. Yes, the abomination of desolation occurred in the Second Temple, was the act of King Antiochus IV setting up an altar, Christmas, like not even a Christmas tree, but an altar, which the Christmas tree is an altar that you bring gifts to the demon. But anyways, but specifically talking about this, setting up an altar to Zeus and sacrificing a pig on it. So I ask you, if sacrificing a pig in the holy temple was considered the abomination of desolation, and we know how bad that is. Like literally, the only other time abomination of desolation that I know is used in the Bible is in the book of Daniel, and talking about the Antichrist. Okay. Now, if that is the abomination of desolation, how much more so is it an abomination of desolation if we then begin to put the pig into our new, renewed, holy temples that are supposed to be dedicated to Yahuwah, if we put it in our own body, which is the temple, okay? These are just things for you to think about. I'm not going too deep into this, all right? Now, again, the book of Maccabees, right, was taken out of the Bible. Why? Because it was the Greek, it was showing the Hebrews revolting against the traditions of the Greeks. Now, what's odd enough about Christmas? Christmas evolved from a variety of traditions, which were both Roman and Germanic traditions. Like, so basically, when the people were around at the time, these same holidays were imposed by Rome at the same time that the apostles and the prophets were being persecuted, okay? The book of Maccabees recounts a Hebrew revolt against the Hellenistic, get it, Hellenistic, which was enforced by Greek culture. It was a revolt against it. Why do you think they took that out of the Bible? Let's keep going. Tree decorating. Some pagans decorated evergreen trees with candles and fruit, believing they had magical properties to ward off evil spirits. Come on, man. Do we not see this and encourage them to return of spring? For example, Druid priests decorated oak trees with gilded apples and candles. See, there are your apples and candles. While Germanic tribes honor the god Odin by decorating trees during the winter solstice. Come on, people. We have to get a grip and an understanding on these things. As Christianity spread, pagan traditions were often integrated into Christian holidays, right? See, it's literally, the Bible says, Psalm 4:3, be ye separate. 1 Peter 2:9. He's called us to be a holy nation, right? A holy mean being set apart. We're supposed to be set apart from these traditions, okay? Now, I want to show you something else. Let's see. All right. Hold on, wait. Gift giving. early gifts were often simple tokens like branches from sacred trees or items like vegetables, salt, and honey to honor fertility and good luck for the next year. Fertility as in sex, right? Literally fornication, honoring fornication. Like, oh gosh. Anyways, let's get back to it. Okay, modern Christmas trees. Let's watch this. This pagan practice of bringing evergreen bows indoor were adopted by early Christian 16th century Germans, are credited with creating the Christmas tree tradition as we know it, right? And who knows how much they lie, but let's see. This is definitely a fact. And some believe Martin Luther was the first to add candles to a tree. Who is Martin Luther? To my Christians out there, yes, Martin Luther is credited with leading the Protestant Reformation. So this man is a terror. This man is knowingly or unknowingly leading people to the beast. They are leading people to, again, the trees are going to be burned up. These traditions are going to be burned up. And the tree, right, and again, like with the pig in the temple, right, all this stuff is spiritual now, right? You are literally darkening your tree, your spiritual temple. You are bearing bad fruit whenever you are partaking in these pagan rituals. You cannot bless a demonic altar. You can't operate from a demonic altar and expect blessings to come from that demonic altar. Okay, I mean, it's insanity. Like, you don't see anyone doing that in the Bible. Okay, now with that being said, let's keep going. And again, we're just not done yet. I had to give you so many scriptures and so many things because the Most High is just hitting me with all this revelation. We're going to go into Krampus and how they even made us Hebrews look like the devil with this holiday. But we're going to get into that, so you got to bear with me. I know this is probably starting to get long. Okay. In fact, Christmas was created as a holiday that coincided with the Roman holiday, and see, that's a lie in and of itself because, well, actually, it's somewhat true because Saturnalia was always a thing, but they always try to promote this narrative that Christmas is somehow so much different than Saturnalia when literally all the traditions and everything is just the same. It's just the culture that's being celebrated in is different, right? Or more so, like the names and the stories just shifted just a little bit. In fact, no one knows the day when Jesus was born. The date of the 25th was chosen to coincide with the winter solstice in which the sun was reborn. The sun being paganism, Osiris, the sun god Ra, Egyptian. What does Egypt mean in Hebrew? It means it's bondage. It literally means the house of bondage. You are putting yourself in bondage when you celebrate these holidays. And I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I'm not a person that's in religion, but I'm a person that has a relationship with the Most High Yahuwah, right? I denounce Jehovah's Witnesses in all religion. So yes, Christmas does have some pagan origins in many things that we do, or they do, not us. Celebrate Christmas trees and mistletoe gift giving are leftovers from the older pagan holiday. But it would not be fair or factual to declare that it is a complete pagan holiday, even though this man just went on and said, or woman, or website people, that it's all like the whole entire thing has pagan roots and everything, but yet don't write it off. This is literally why the tares are going to be put in bundles and burned up, because this is hypocrisy. And then he goes on to say that basically talking about Paul wrote in his letter about Romans regarding holy days that you should each be fully convinced that whatever day you choose is acceptable, right? So basically tries to twist scripture that was talking about in the book of Romans, talking about different days, okay, which was not talking about, again, when did you see Paul? When did you see Messiah? Because these traditions were around when did you see them celebrate these days, man? Like, this is not, if it was talking about these days, it would have said that, okay? It's not talking about these days, right? In other words, it's not about the origins of the day, but it's about whether you can give honor to God with clear conscience by celebrating that day. I don't know about you, but I can't know everything that I just told you guys and celebrate this with a clear conscience, okay? It's not about you and your heart posture, because it says in the Bible that the heart is deceitfully wicked, above all things. Okay, so this is not a heart posture issue. This is a facts over your feelings type issue. For most people, Christmas is just a celebration of arrival of the hope of the world. It's not a pagan festival. For them, it doesn't feel. Why is it always feelings but never fact? Let's see, they always tell you this and then try to gaslight you into believing that it's okay. This is why Christianity is going to fall. This is why people are leaving the church, because it's this type of mixing. The Most High hates mixing tradition, mixing religion, mixing belief that he hates. I'm trying to tell you. Let's go even deeper. Baal and the Beast, a tale as old as time. I want you guys to read about Sinterklaas and Krampus with me to show you how much they hate so-called people that want to label as black or whatever. This goes to show you that there is racism or nationism or whatever you want to call it in this holiday. Sinterklaas and Krampus are figures from European folklore who appear together, while Sinterklaas rewarding good children and Krampus punishing the bad. Let's see how they characterize them. Let's go. Sinterklaas is a gift giver based on Saint Nicholas, while Krampus is a monstrous horned creature who accompanies him. Embodying the darker disciplinary aspect of tradition, according to the University of Central Florida and Fear Columbus Haunted House. The tradition is celebrated on December 5th, also known as Krampus Night. Okay, let's see the difference. A Sinterklaas, a kind legendary figure based on Christian Saint Nicholas, right? Again, these traditions, they're all the same. The name changes, the culture surrounding it might, but it's all pagan. If it's not about the Hebrew culture, it's pagan culture. Action rewards well-behaved children with gifts and treats. Go figure. Okay, so when you're embodying the spirit of Sinterklaas when you're giving gifts to your children. Again, I'm not trying to be rude about this, but we have to come to understand, like, we're about to be in 2026, people. The Great Tribulation is about to kick off, and I don't want you to be here for it. I want you to be in the Exodus. I want you to inherit the promises, but you will be a part of the first group that is taken the tares that are burned up in bundles if you continue to if you continue to allow these pagan altars in your house. Okay, rewards with well-behaved children. Okay, orders date back to the Middle Ages and have evolved into traditions like the Dutch Sinterklaas celebration. Let's read about Krampus, a Sinterklaas's dark, devilish companion. And if you look, the Krampus, and you look at Sinterklaas, like Sinterklaas is white basically, and Krampus is black, like me and others are, right? So the symbolism that they play on is like literally racist. Like, I'm telling you, these holidays, they're black people. The reason why you can't fit into the system, and the natural branches, the wild branches as well, the reason why you can't fit into the system is because we were never meant to. And this is why no matter how many Martin Luther Kings or Malcolm X's or Rosa Parkses we have, that it's never going to work, because we've tried revolution, we've tried all these different things, but we've never tried going back to the Most High, genuinely away from Christianity, going back to our Hebrew culture. This is why he's beginning to deliver us, because 2 Esdras 13:29-31 says that when we begin, when the Most High God begins to deliver us, when we remember, Ezekiel 36:20-24, when we begin to remember his name, Second Esdras time with that at that time they're going to be close to panic. Verse 30, because as much as they hate us, they know they need us for this system to survive. Verse 31, because of that, they'll make war against one another, city against city, region against region, civil war, nation versus nation, nation not meaning country but meaning people, tribes, tongues, and nations, right? So a race war that I'm not advocating for, and kingdom versus kingdom, that's world war. I'm not advocating for a race war, but what I am advocating for is the spiritual revolution in your heart. I'm not advocating for physical rebellion. I'm telling you to stay out of the system, including the holidays. Okay, and the appearance is a beast-like creature. Notice how Krampus is a black beast-like creature, basically, with horns, a long tongue, and fur-covered body. He is often depicted carrying chains, bells, or a sack for naughty children. Okay, this is all paganism, and this is going to be, I believe, the end of my video right here. And if this doesn't show you that it's pagan, then I don't really know what will. Because again, I've showed you Ashtaroth and all these things, and how they tie, because they would take the children with the eggs on that day. They would have these sex orgies on Easter and then sacrifice these babies on Christmas. I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Okay, they would do that, and they would have all these traditions like this, and none of this is based in the Most High. Not one tradition. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't get on a demonic altar and you can't make a bad tree bear good. It's just not going to happen. Okay? Now, how do you deal with family and friends? Honestly, there is no easy way. You have to stand on your conviction. Like Daniel, in the book of Daniel, like that he didn't bow to the statue. There was no easy way out of it. There was no comfortable way of saying it. You just simply don't have to bow. Now, don't be rude and don't nag family. But if you are called to stand and stand righteously in boldness and in conviction. There will not be another Exodus. There will not be another end times. These are the final moments to save souls. So do what you can while you can, because pretty soon things are going to change. And I want you to be on the better part of that change, okay, which is going to the Exodus. And I love you, family. When America falls, when America and Babylon falls, when these holidays fall, we will rise, family. We will rise and take what was rightfully ours, not by our way, not like the United Nations in 1948, but by the Most High, bringing us back into the wilderness and bringing us into the millennial reign. Don't miss the ark to get there, which is the second Exodus. Make sure your heart posture is right. Forgive who you're going to forgive. Love who you're going to love, because pretty soon things are going to begin to change. I love you, family. Shalom.